I kind of had a problem from a young age. I started smoking pot when I was about 13. I really started going out of my way for it with alcohol. Like, that got pretty bad in my teenage years. It got to the point where I was like drinking like vanilla extract and stuff like that. Pretty much whatever I could get my hands on. My first criminal charge I ever got was for stealing beer from Walmart. I ended up having to do community service for that. But once I turned 18, I started doing crystal meth. I started using needles. That went on for a couple years. I went to the methadone clinic trying to get off of that. I started on Suboxone. Once that stopped getting me high, because when you take it like you're supposed to, it's got a ceiling effect. It stops, like, you stop getting instant euphoric results like you're looking for. So I switched over to methadone, and it just started getting worse from there. I wasn't doing meth every day, but I had like switched that back out, and then I was taking methadone. I got up to 80 milligrams of that daily. And then when that wasn't doing it for me, I was drinking on top of that. I started drinking liquor pretty heavily to the point where I would just like nod out in this chair at my mom's house. Like, there's still a floor there with cigarette burns all over the floor. Eventually I got really sick. When I was going to the methadone clinic, they took my take homes because this was during the COVID time. Once I stopped getting the take homes like every 2 weeks, I couldn't quit drinking long enough to go in there for them to dose me on the methadone, because that's really dangerous. And once they found out about that, I ended up just detoxing off all that. My family thought that I had quit doing the methadone and they were giving me praise and all that, but really it was just because I couldn't quit drinking long enough, and one kind of started feeding off the other. When I started detoxing off the methadone, I couldn't drink. I ended up going back to meth after that. It was just like this revolving door. It just eventually led to a point where my family wasn't trying to deal with it no more. They wouldn't support me. I ended up getting locked up, just repeatedly in and out of jail. Basically to a point where like I asked myself, and I was praying to God, like, just, it's either gonna be death or prison, and I didn't see no way out. I called this place. I came here like a couple years ago before, and I was just trying to get out of jail. I didn't truly want help, but I really hit rock bottom after a while and appreciated like what could be done for me if I was just willing to put some of these other things aside. But I physically could not put those things aside without having a little bit of sober time first. Thankfully, I was able to come up here from jail, and I was able to start to appreciate the things that aren't chemically induced. The whole time it's been good, I guess. I've just had to really retrain my brain on from one-dimensional thinking to three-dimensional thinking. It wasn't all rainbows and balloons every day, but I had to just think back of some of the times that I've came from, and I had to think about like where I wanted to be at in life. I just couldn't look at instant results of doing this to get that. Really, a lot of the strength I think came from the Lord. Honestly, I don't think I could have done this without him. Personally, I felt a lot of accomplishment by being able to memorize all the scriptures, because I didn't think I was going to be able to do that at first. But honestly, just like coming in with some of these people from the beginning and making it to the end of this thing, and like being with the same people and just seeing how much I've grown and seeing how much they've grown, and just seeing how much people's changed, where they got their goals at in life, and just seeing restoration with my family and everything. Throughout the whole thing, coming to realize I don't know it all, and sometimes just backing off and letting other people do some thinking for me. That's pretty difficult sometimes. But even when I feel and know in my heart 100% I think I'm right on something, when you got a room full of other people that are a lot similar to you telling you, maybe rethink that, sometimes you gotta back off on that. Feels good. I mean, this is the only time in my life I've ever honestly had my addiction not be priority number one at the end of the day. Like before, I could have been talking to anybody, but in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking about how am I going to feed that animal that's inside of me. But at this point now, it's just, I think about like, what can I do to, better my relationships with people? What can I do to bring something to the table worthwhile to something else? Not what can they bring to the table that'll be worthwhile to me. If you want to really change your life and you want to get a new perspective on things, and you want to really get to the root of the issues instead of just pointing blame at the cause, then a good place to come to, but you got to be ready for it.